Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today's Wednesday, August 9th. It is 6:24 right now. Market's gonna open in about 6 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly. It's got a couple of things here to update and we should be good to go. Uh, All right, so let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in. Let's start shortly. Best place. All right, guys. Good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, August 9th. It is 6:26 right now. Market's gonna open in about 4 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark liquidity over here on the liquidity chart real quick. It shouldn't take too long. Mark the weekly first. There. Weekly, daily. Eight-hour. Four-hour. Two-hour. One-hour. Down to the 30-minute. Red. $15-minute. And lastly, the 10-minute. All right, it looks like we're good to go. All right, down to the 1 minute over here. As you guys can see, the closest level of liquidity, there's one level above right there, and there's one level below. So if you guys are looking to take these liquidity pushes, I would only go for 100 pips because they're low level liquidity. Looks like volatility is very low right now too. So if you want to go for this, I would probably only go for 100 pips if you guys want to go for either level. I'm probably not going to take either of them. I mean, I'll see how I feel when price gets closer to this upper level, but for the most part, probably not going to take these right here because they do look like weak levels. Market is going to open in about 30 seconds. Looks like this lower level may get hit prior to market open. But yeah, I mean, if you guys are looking to take the entries here, that's going to be the closest level of liquidity right there. Market is going to open in about 20 seconds. So once the market opens, we'll see where liquidity pushes, and then we'll go from there. Looking at the overall direction of price right here, it looks like price is still somewhat bearish. So this here will be the first level of liquidity. This hit before market opens. You want to be a little careful. This is going to be market open right here on the next candle. So I probably wouldn't want to take anything pre-market, but when the market opens right here, this is where the real movement is happening. So if price comes back for that retest or retouch of that area, then possibly go in for the 100 pips. But if not, I just wait for that retest. You can see price is pushing all the way back up. This is why I don't take trades pre-market, because when the market opens here at 6:30, you get this crazy movement right here, right? You don't want to be risking your trade getting in before you should be getting in. So if price does come back down for a second touch over here, then at that point, maybe you'll go in for like the quick 100 pips there at that point. But right now, market is now open. We'll see where this ends up going. And then from there, we'll see if it goes and retests. If it retests, it's probably going to push right through. So that's something to maybe look for if price does come through. But it's kind of a crazy moving candle right now. So I'll watch and see where it goes from here. Maybe I'll get it for a little push because 100 pips isn't really that much of a push. Like you can go in for the quick 100 pips and get out, but you want to make sure that it actually comes down and actually, breaks through this area here. Let's check what the ATR is looking like right now. ATR is currently 13, so it should be enough to probably push through if it does get to that point. But again, let's go back and look at everything here. So looking at all the time frames over here, you can see over here on the lower time frames, the 1 minute over here is currently neutral. Price is in between the pivots. The 5 minute over here is kind of bearish, but it is somewhat neutral as well because it's in between the pivots currently. The 10 minute right here is retesting the pivots as well. So I would just say the shorter time frames over here are more of a bearish neutral. Looking over here on the higher time frames, 30 minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour time frames, it looks like this is all pretty much neutral. Price is in between the pivots. Trend meter is green on the 30 minute, blue on the 1 hour, red on the 4 hour. So lower time frames, bearish neutral. Higher time frames, pretty much straight neutral. Looks like price is trying to get back to that level down there, but it's not necessarily there yet. I'm not in any of these positions here. I'd rather just wait for the market to stabilize a bit and then start looking for entries from there. So anyways, looking at this here, bearish neutral, shorter time frames, longer time frames, pretty much straight neutral. Looking over here at retail sentiment has been pushing around very quickly. Pre-market was at 75% short. It's now at 73% short. This is why you want to be careful because it's not really one-sided. Price keeps bouncing around from where it's currently at. So it's currently 73% short. It's now at 74. You can see the numbers are changing very quickly back to 73. This is very unusual, right? Because you don't see sentiment change this quickly. It's changing. You can see it real time change. It goes from 73 to 74 to 75 back to 73. It's not a good sign, right? You don't want to be trading when the volatility is that crazy. Right now, the volatility is a little too crazy. So I probably want to be careful about taking any entries here. Plus the wicks here are pretty huge, right? Compared to what we're normally seeing. So huge wicks on the top, decent wicks on the bottom, but the wicks here are there's just a lot of uncertainty as to where price is going. Let me check the news calendar real quick. I want to make sure there's nothing going on that's causing price to really spike around like this. Not necessarily. There's news at 4 o'clock. There's news at 7:30, and that's about it. But there's nothing going on right now specifically. There goes that first level of liquidity that I mentioned. I said on the second touch, if you guys want to take it, went straight to full TP right there. It like literally blasted right through. I don't know what's going on, but the price is moving very erratic right now compared to how it should be. Typically it'll move, but not like how it's moving right now. The only reason it moves like this is if there's some type of news event or some type of catalyst that's pushing price around, but I don't really see anything here that's causing, a crazy movement like that. I guess we'll see. So we'll see. Anyways, the liquidity push right there on open hit TP. If you guys went for the 100 pips, went straight to bull TP right there, immediately went down, touched it, blasted right through. And then here it is back into the range. Let me go ahead and mark up opening price. I think there was news at 4 o'clock as well. There's news at 4 o'clock and there's news at 7:30. So 4 o'clock and 7:30, that's pretty much it. Yeah, news coming up right here, 7:30. There was news at 4 o'clock. It's pretty far out. News at 4 o'clock right there. Nice. Marcin said he got the liquidity push, sell push for the first time. Nice work right there, Marcin. It's a quick move, right? You get in, get your TP, and then you're out. Kaner caught the liquidity as well. CC caught the liquidity. Casey said the daily change on the sentiment is wild. Yeah, it's moving pretty crazy. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Karen. Morning, CJ. Morning, James. Morning, Kevin. Morning, Maria. Morning, Stern. Morning, Randy. Morning, everybody. Nice. Rashida caught the liquidity. Kenneth caught the liquidity. Looks like a lot of you guys caught that lower level of liquidity right there. Just a reminder, guys, if it hits pre-market, either skip it or wait for the second touch. Like, what happened here? Because this touched on the pre-market candle, 29-minute, and then when it came back down, it went straight through like it was supposed to. So this is normal. We trade liquidity every day, so we understand this movement. A lot of fake outs happen pre-market. A lot of fake outs happen like all throughout the day. So it's always important to wait for the actual move and not get caught in the fake out, right? And, I'm always looking out for your best interest. If I tell you guys it's risky, it's probably risky. I'm not just telling you that to be careful. I'm telling you that because I know it's risky. So if I say it's risky and I say, wait for the next touch, wait for the next touch, right? Like I'm obviously looking out for your guys' best interest. It doesn't make a difference for me whether I tell you to take it or not. But from my experience, I know how these touches happen. I know when it's probably a fake out, and you guys can use my expertise to your advantage. Anyways, there goes a clean chart right here. Price still hasn't really chosen a direction yet. As you guys can see, price keeps just bouncing around. I'm going to go ahead and mark up levels right here so we can start to maybe follow for some entries here, hopefully. Yeah, we'll see. 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 60, 40, 30. All right, so you got the levels right here marked up. There's a sell momentum. There's a bit of a sell direction here. Not exactly where I would take entry, but yeah, if you're looking for entry right here, you'd want to wait for price to kind of bounce down a little bit, retrace to this level, and then come down. If that's the case, then we could maybe look for entry right here. Where price is currently at, definitely no entry right there. So, we'll see. Where this ends up going. Maria said there's a double body right here. So if you guys saw the V1 variation, there's actually a V1 variation that just happened right here for a sell. I would have taken a sell if it would have came to that situation, but it did play out pretty nicely right there, Maria. So Maria caught that double body right there for a V1 variation. Again, if you guys know my other strategies, I have a ton of strategies that you guys can apply. I think the main ones, well, obviously the ones that you want to focus on are the ones we do here in the live session, which would be the liquidity push and the momentum pullback scalp. On top of that, I think the main ones that a lot of people like to apply that have a high win rate would be like the V1 variation, and then also like the high-low scalps. And then also, of course, the triple confluence that doesn't come up very often, but when it does come up, it's a pretty solid entry. So price hasn't really stabilized yet, guys. We're going to wait for some more stabilization here. I don't really care too much about the 5-minute, guys. If you guys want to trade the 5-minute, you guys can. It's still, it works. It's just, I feel like the 5-minute is just a lot more work. Like, for example, right here, this would have been an entry. Price came down, this green candle pulled up, entry would have happened right there, and you probably would have hit your TP already. I tried to make this work, but it's hard for me to go between two different charts. So there was an entry right there for the 5-minute. If you guys took that, this was at the 635 candle. 630 candle closed right here, price pulled up. This was the closest whole number. And And that's where the entry would have been on the 5 minute. So the 5 minute still works fine, guys. I just don't like looking at two different charts. I need to be focused on just one, because if I look at two, I'm going to miss some moves here on the 1 minute. So yeah, if you guys want to keep trading the 5, feel free. I kind of explained how that worked. It's the same strategy. It's just a different TPS stop loss. But I'm more comfortable with the 1 minute here. So, all right, let's see if there's anything else here for us to look at. So today I'm going to try to use my 5-year accounts on Tradeovate again. Tried yesterday, I was a little too slow. Hopefully this time will be a little better. Here goes Andreas. So Andreas sent in his profits, total profit of 1,060 for the day. Nice work, Andreas. You take the liquidity push right there. If you guys have profit to post up, feel free to send them in. Otherwise, if not, you guys can always send them in later. There's no need to send them in right now. All right, so we still have the sell signal right here. We're looking for price to come down lower. So we need price to be down here for us to start looking for any possible entry. Because our possible entry would happen like somewhere down here, which obviously price is not there yet, but that's what we're looking for. Let me go and mark up the overall bias for today. Hey, Kenny, how's it going? Morning. Retail sentiment is, I'm just going to assume it's bullish, 73% short. I'll see if it changed, but I'm pretty sure it's around there. Fundamentals are currently neutral. Yeah, currently neutral. We'll just say like plus 10 points. Short-term technicals are bearish neutral. Long-term technicals are neutral. All right, so looking at today's overall bias, let's take a look at the retail sentiment. It's currently 73% short. This indicates that 73% of retail traders are currently selling right now. So you typically want to do the opposite and buy. Looking over here at the fundamentals, you're currently down 14 points. They're pretty much flat right now, neutral. Looking over here at the technicals, short-term technicals are currently bearish neutral. The 1 minute over here is super neutral. It's right down the middle. A 5 minute here is somewhat bearish. A 10 minute here is somewhat bearish. So basically bearish neutral over here on the shorter time frames. Higher time frames over here, 30, 1 hour, and 4 hour. You can see that price is it's pretty neutral on the 30, neutral on the 1, neutral on the 4. So there's not really too much of a strong bias right now. It's not a big deal. It's fine if there's not much of a strong bias. We can still trade in either direction. But right now there just isn't very much of a direction or bias. So we need to wait for price to either push down here so we can look for sells, or price to push up here so we can start looking for buys. Doesn't matter where price goes. We'll follow price wherever it goes, and then we'll take trades in that direction. But right now, there's just nothing for us to take at the moment. ATR is currently at 21 points right now, so the volatility is decent. It's not great, but it is decent. It's just high because of these opening candles right here, right? When price starts to kind of trickle along and passes through further, then at that point, it'll start to smoothen out a bit. Right now, it's not smoothing out yet, because you can see here, if we go back 14 candles, this is the average range. So basically, when we have the average true range, I have it set to 14, which is the default settings. What it does is it gives you the average range of this many candles. So basically, how far the price has been ranging between 14 candles back, that's what the average true range is. That's why right now it's currently at 20, because there was a lot of movement here, but as price starts to slow down, it's going to get tighter and tighter, right? It went from like 22 to 21 to 20, and then we'll see if this doesn't move anywhere, it's going to go back down to like 19, 18, 17, etc. As long as it stays above 15, we're good. But if it goes below 15, we want to hold off and take trades, because that's just a consolidating market. And it's not a good time to take entries. So yeah, again, guys, we're just waiting for this to play out. Andrew said it's squeezing, which it is. You can see price here is getting tighter and tighter. I'll go over to the clean chart. You can see it a little better. Let me go and mark up the structure here, so you guys can see where price is squeezing. So we got the high right there. Got the low right there. So you can see that price has not really gone anywhere, right? It's really just pretty much range between this area, some fake outs in both directions. But you can see that price is attempting to break below. If it breaks below, great. We'll start looking for sells at that point. But right now, it just hasn't really, it's broken, but it hasn't actually closed below that point. So, all right, if this red candle closes below this point here, we're going to look for a retest of this area. So this is basically what we're looking for. Push down, retest, continuation. We get that right there, great. We're going to look for a short position. Take that right there and write it down, right? We don't have that yet, but hopefully it'll happen soon. We're just waiting for this here to drop down a little more. It's a little too close still. So we do need this to come down a little bit further. And it's too close because for one, it's right at opening price. And then for two, the sell signal is right here. So we need price to actually drop down a little bit. We do have the sell direction. So we have sell trend because price is below the pivots, trend meter is red, pivots are angling down. We know trend is coming down, but we need actual direction here. And we need direction from momentum to come down, retrace, and continue down lower. So again, just a matter of patience. It's just a waiting game right here. You're waiting for that entry to come to you. It hasn't came yet, but hopefully it'll come eventually. That's the thing that I like about the strategies that we apply is that we have an anticipation, right? We can wait for the entry to come and we know when it's coming. It's just a matter of time until it happens. So you just got to keep focusing on the chart here, wait for something to play out or something to really confirm. And then from there, we can start looking for a possible entry. Otherwise, liquidity over here is not going to get hit. Liquidity is pretty much done for right now. Lower level right there got hit already. This higher level hasn't gotten hit unless we get a big push to the upside. We're not really going to get much of a push there, right? It's probably not going to get hit until maybe after the live session today. So for right now, there's just nothing for us to take here at the moment. We're just waiting for price to actually have a direction. If we get a buy signal right here, that's completely fine, but we need price to actually push away in this direction pretty high before we can start looking for some actual buys. So it doesn't really matter here where price goes. Price can go up, price can go down. As long as there's some sort of direction, we can start looking for trades in that direction. Cool. Andrew said we're at yesterday's open price. Yeah, it looks like price didn't really move too much. I mean, price does kind of bounce around a bit, but then it typically goes back to either yesterday's opening price or it'll go back to the previous sessions. Let's turn on the sessions indicator over here. Yeah, it looks like price was rejecting directly off the Asia low right here. So let's go to this chart. So you guys can see down here this purple line. That's actually where our low is at. So this purple line right here is the Asia low. You can see how price kind of comes down and bounced directly off it a couple of times, had failure getting past it. And it's just ranging between this area. So there's not really too much going on here. Price is kind of just bouncing around the opening price like it did a lot last week and the week before. Hopefully it breaks through, but we have news at 7:30. So if it doesn't break through anytime soon, it'll probably break through around that time later. The main thing here to look at too would be the fundamentals. So there's not really much going on. Like I was saying earlier on, on market open that it was kind of weird how price was spiking around so much because there was nothing here going on. There's no news here. There's no breaking news. There's nothing going on around the world that was really kind of, pushing price around. You can see over here, stocks open, little change Wednesday as traders await inflation data. Yeah, I don't think there is. Let me see the news for today. So we don't really have any high impact news for today. Let me see. We just have oil news. So we have crude oil inventories today at 7:30. This is a weekly news event that comes out every week. At 10 o'clock, we have the 10-year bond auction. The inflation news is going to happen tomorrow. So market's kind of flat right now. I was hoping market would continue moving like it did yesterday and the day before, but it's not really moving too much. Thursday over here at 5:30, we have inflation news. We have a consumer price index month over month at 5:30, consumer price index year over year, core PCI month over month, unemployment claims, natural gas storage, the Fed. Tomorrow's Fed day basically because the inflation news is coming out. It's not necessarily Fed week, but it's like Fed day because we do have Fed member Harker speaking at 1 p.m. So after the inflation news comes out, they're going to make a statement. And then, we'll see. So yeah, all the inflation news doesn't come out till Thursday, Friday. So tomorrow morning we have CPI, consumer price index. Friday we have PPI, producer price index. Other than that, we don't really have much else to look at right now. We're just waiting for price to actually go somewhere. Okay, we have a buy signal now, so this is fine. We have a buy signal. We have the trend meter is now blue. So price pushes up here, that's completely fine. We can start looking for buys, but we need to have a confirmation of price actually pushing to the upside, right? We can't just be like waiting for, or we can't be anticipating to take buys here super early on before anything actually confirms. So again, right now, it's just a matter of time until we have a confirmation here. Once we get that confirmation, we'll start looking for entries. But again, guys, it's just a matter of patience and a matter of being disciplined, waiting for that entry to come. There's not really much of a bias here, so it's hard to look for any like V1 variations and stuff like that because it's not really one-sided. It's kind of pushing back and forth. Sentiment's still the same. Not really too much going on. Oh, man. Boring market. But there's no news today, so, or there is news, but it's low impact. So boring market is kind of what we expected. Okay, we're starting to get some nice candles right here. Let's see if this pushes up. We need price push up higher. It's too low right now. All right, so the first sign of a change in trend is going to be these pivots right here, right? Because the pivots change faster than the trend meter over here. So once this red pivot level 4 goes below all the other pivots, we can assume that that's going to be the initiation of a switch in trend to the upside. If it doesn't, then it's still bearish. So right now it's still bearish. Obviously, the red pivot is still above. You can see over here when the red pivot, like the red pivot never went below all of them except for like right here, but then it came right back down. But you can see when price, when the pivots start to ribbon, and you can see over here the red went over all the other pivots, it went into a strong downtrend. And then vice versa over here, when the red pivot went below all the other pivots, price started to go to the upside, right? So that's the first sign of a shift in trend. It's either going to be the trend meter or the pivots. Typically it'll be the pivots, but sometimes it'll be the trend meter if the trend meter is moving fast enough. But yeah, as you guys can see right here, there's not really too much going on. Volatility is very low. Trend meter's back to red. If this is the case, that's completely fine. We'll just start looking for some sells here. We got that pending sell signal. That's fine too. But really, there's just no direction. Just to keep things as simple as possible. There's just no direction here. I mean, price is now, it's super neutral. It's in between the pivots and the trend meter down below is blue, right? So there's like really no direction here. It's just a sideways movement. Probably just my messenger, guys. I didn't enter into anything. All right, we got some profits over here from Kenny. Kenny took a liquidity push earlier this morning as well. Total profit of 540 for the day. Nice work, Kenny. So solid profit right there from Kenny. We got Marcin over here, total profit of 65.64 off that liquidity push. Nice work, Marcin. And great work on letting your trade hit TP. I can see the green strip right here. So you let that trade run straight to full TP. So solid work right there. We got Glenn over here. Nice work, Glenn. I haven't seen you here in a while. A total profit of 126. I'm pretty sure Glenn's still on the YouTube, but I turned off the chat in the YouTube, so I'm not distracted. Yeah, nice work right there, Glenn. And we have Barty over here, total profit of 223 for the day. Solid work right there. And then Barty on his other account, total profit of 363. So great work, guys. Solid profits across the board for you guys here. You guys did pretty solid on that liquidity push earlier this morning. And then a couple of trades as you followed along. So solid work right there. No official trades yet, guys. We're still waiting for price to come down. There's no confirmation of the drop yet. So, I mean, we do have the sell signal right here, but we don't have a push in that direction. So we got the sell signal here. Price kind of dropped a little bit. We need price to actually come down below here before we can start looking for entries though. So still waiting for it to come back down. If price decides to go up, that's cool too. There's no big deal. We just got to wait for the shift in trend if we're going to look for a buy here. You guys can hear my MT4. It's starting to disconnect. This is a red flag, like a really big red flag. If you guys remember this, like whenever your MT4 starts to disconnect and make some weird noise like that, it's usually a heads up that something weird is going to happen in the market, or your entries are going to have some weird execution times. So just just a reminder, guys, be careful right now. We could probably anticipate some crazy movement in the market, or if you try to enter a trade, it's either going to execute really late or something's going to happen. Like over all of our years of trading, whenever you hear that disconnect sound, it's because something's up with the broker. Typically something's up, like their connectivity issues is off, or they know that something's going to happen. And it seems like they might be jacking up their systems on purpose, but I mean, who knows? But yeah, just keep aware if you guys do decide to take any trades right now. All right, so I need price to drop a little lower. So price needs to drop a little lower. If it retraces to this point right here, we can take entry. But it needs to actually come down. It hasn't came down yet. ATR is currently at 19, so it's starting to slow down a little bit. We'll see. All right, red candle's coming down a little bit. So if that's the case, looks like the entry would probably happen around the 80 mark right here. All right, so if you get a green candle right here and it closes below this black line, then the entry would be right there at the 80 mark. Doesn't have to be a big green candle, it just has to be a green candle in general. We have 40 seconds left on it, so it still has some time right there. It looks like it may not even close that way. Price did push up pretty high. Still got 30 seconds, so we'll see where this ends up closing at. $15 seconds. If price closes above that black line, no entry. There's no direction right now. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're gonna have an entry here, guys, unfortunately. All right, price pushed up a little too high, no entry right there. I wouldn't take the higher level up here because the sell signal is right there. So if price does get that high, it might just reverse. So again, I'm looking for price to come back down to this area right here, retrace, and continuation. It's again just another, another setup that we got to wait for. Right. All right, so we got a buy signal there. And we got to wait again. All right, so there's no direction here. I'm hoping we get some sort of direction before the volatility dies down. Volatility is currently at 18 right now, so I'm hoping it picks up a little bit. I think around 7 o'clock it'll pick up a little bit because usually the market starts to pick up, or there's some volatility at the top of every hour. So it's 6:58 right now. Hopefully in the next 2 minutes we get some sort of direction. I don't care if price goes up or price goes down. It doesn't really make a difference for us. We just need to have some sort of direction. Volatility is starting to slow down a bit. You can see over here it's now at 18. As it gets closer and closer to 15, it's going to make me less likely to want to take a trade. If you guys remembered our trade on Monday, we had to pull out of that trade early because of obvious reasons. The volatility was way too low, and it just was not. It just was not it, because it just kept going sideways for a very long time. So the volatility here now it's down to 17. Let's hope by the next minute it starts to push, either to the upside or to the downside. I don't care which direction. Because if it pushes up, we have a buy signal right here. If it pushes up, great, we'll look for entry. Right there, right? Doesn't matter. Price can push up or price wants to come down. That's cool too. If that's the case and price comes down, then we'll look for entry down here, right? So it doesn't really matter too much with regards to direction. You can see the trend meter is now turning green. So if price pushes up, that's cool. It doesn't really matter to us too much. The volatility is starting to pick back up, or actually, no, never mind. Take that back. It's still at 18. I just want to keep the market alive because it's just too slow right now. You can see over here from the clean chart, there's not really much going on. Price is just ranging within these two zones right here that I marked up. So there's not really much here to really play with. I mean, it's just going back and forth. If anything, if price continues to climb, that's probably a good thing because it's going to push up and try to hit the next level of liquidity up there. So if it continues to climb up higher, it's actually a good sign because we have a target price point there. So if price continues to climb, we know that this is going to be the target price point, right? The liquidity area. So I'm fine with that. And you can see over here, here's a 7 o'clock candle. Like I mentioned, at the top of the hour, you typically get some volatility. So price is pushing up right here. If we get that retracement, then we may have possible entry right here at the 10 mark. So we need this candle to close. Once it closes, we'll look for the retracement. Once we get that retracement, possible entry right there for a buy. We got about 7 seconds left on this candle right here. Price is pushing up higher, completely fine. Okay, the next level is going to be right here at the 20 mark. So we need a retracement. Price is getting a little overextended, so it's a little risky to hop into something. If it gets a little too high, it's still fine, but I want to be a little careful. All right, so the closest level right here, if price does pull back at all, it's going to be at the 20 mark. But it looks like this thing is climbing higher and higher. Yeah, it's gonna be a little hectic, guys. Looking for entry here because this is it's definitely a bit overextended. 30. Measure this from this point. All right, I mean, there's still opportunity here for entry. So price pulls back, entry would probably be right here at the 30 mark. About 30 seconds left. So if the candle closes, if it closes below here, not going to take anything, but if it closes above, I'll probably put my buy limit right there at the 30 mark. If it gets anywhere lower than that, it's a little too far back. So we got about 5 seconds left on this candle. All right, so my order got filled right there. I'm gonna have to manually close out of this because I don't have my pending. I can't have a pending order right there. So when price pushes up, I just got to manually close out of it. Just watching him. I hate not being able to set a TP here. because I gotta actually watch and pay attention to the movement. So when price pushes up right there, I just gotta manually close out of it. TV's actually right there. Got 40 more. On my finger here, market close button. I'm out. Full TP right there, guys. Smooth move, waited for the entry, got in, got out, full TP right there. So I had to manually close out because yeah, that was pretty cool. Let me see. Let me check my other account. That was pretty cool because it copied all my accounts. So let me see. I finally took a trade on my other. Yeah, it worked. Okay, perfect. It worked. So I used the copier on TradeAbate, guys. It's smooth. Like it's not that hard. It's just a little nerve-wracking because you can't set your TP. You gotta like do it manually. But it worked. Perfect. So both of my accounts here, I took the trade. I actually don't mind it. It was fine. All right, sweet. So I got into that position right there. Use my copier. So both of my TradeAbate accounts executed. Same profit on both. That was actually pretty clean. Like, because what happens is when you take the copier on the TradeAbate, it was actually not as scary as I thought. I thought it was going to be a little more scary. I was tripping out for a second because I was worried I was going to be able to pull out. But let me just take a screenshot of this real quick. But what happens is when you set the copier for TradeAbate, like you have a max lot size of 15 per account, right? So I just put 30 lots there and then just distribute. So like, it'll be like, okay, this gets filled and this gets filled and this gets filled. And then all the accounts until you're out of contracts, they just get fully filled. So, I mean, it wasn't that bad. My MT4 took the trade too. So I got profit on all my accounts, got some slippage on my MT4, but it is what it is. Let me just go and copy this over here real quick. So it wasn't too bad. So hopefully you guys pulled out with us right there because obviously market's moving kind of crazy. It did exactly what we thought was going to happen. Some crazy movement here. Yeah, it's just a little crazy, guys. How like, we kind of anticipated this because MT4 was like disconnecting and I was like, something crazy is going to happen right now. And it did. Price pushed up super heavy and then it came down super heavy. Crazy market. So whenever I tell you that something weird's going to happen, it's probably going to happen because we've seen this before. Like if you guys remembered over here, like at 6, like before 7 o'clock, MT4 started making that dinging sound, right? Like it was disconnecting and reconnecting. And it was doing that for no reason. We're in the middle of the market right now, so it shouldn't be disconnecting. The only time it should disconnect is at the end of the market day. There was no new setup for today. It was just, that's kind of like our little red flag, like, hey, you know what, watch out for the market. Something crazy is going to happen soon. And that's exactly what happened. Price pushed up here and then it came right back down super heavy. But anyways, that's the trade that we took right there. I'll take a screenshot of my top step. Yeah, so I haven't really been using my top step a lot, but here's my top step. So here's my main account right here. This is I just go by the last two numbers, 57. You can see right there, I locked in 675. I'll just take a screenshot of that right there. Just all wins for the day. And then here's my other account. So I have two accounts on Top Step. This is the one that I copied to, or not really copied, it's just a group trade one. 61, you can see over here, I also locked in 675 as well. So two different accounts, full TPs on both. It was pretty smooth. It seems 15 contracts here and then 15 contracts over here. So I don't really mind it. It's at first I was kind of worried about it because I didn't think it'd be accurate, but as soon as I hit close, it closed on every account and it has the same profit across both. So there's a lot of haters out there who hate Top Step, but I think Top Step is not that bad once you like actually get it down. I haven't been able to execute trades, so that's why I haven't really passed the Top Step yet, because I've been mainly trading on my MT4. Obviously, you guys know why I would do that, because I get actual payouts on my MT4 right now versus Top Step. It's just the payout situation is not. ideal right now until I get funded on like, multiple accounts. Because I'm not going to throw away profits to make a couple profits on like, or make smaller profits on Top Step. The main reason I like using Top Step is for you guys, is so that you guys can see the transparency of like entering trades and exiting trades. And you guys see it on my actual chart, like right here. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and post up my profits real quick. There's no entries for us to take right now, so you guys aren't missing out on anything. If there's anything that you guys are looking at, just sit tight because there's no movement right now. We have a sell momentum, trend is still bullish. So you got to wait for the confirmation before you start looking for any actual entries there. Kenny said, seemed like a nice risky area to trade on my end. Yeah, it was a little risky, Kenny, but I just ended up taking it anyways. It filled pretty quickly, and then I ended up locking it in. So let's see. Yeah, a lot of you guys here caught it. Vince caught it, Rick caught it, CJ caught it, Kaner caught it, Daniel caught it, Marcin caught it. Exactly. Yeah, Randy said good thing the candle opened below 35,430. Otherwise, it would have been caught by the spread. Yeah, and I agree with you too, Randy, 100%. Marcin's asking, on your MT4, you enter your trades manually? Yeah, I just enter it manually using the quick trade manager. So I just hit buy or sell, and it automatically sets my TP stop loss. On Tradeovate, unfortunately, I can set a pending order, but no brackets. So I can't put a TP stop loss, but I can enter the trade. So once I enter the trade, I just got to exit manually once it hits TP. All right, so we're waiting for a confirmation right now. Okay, so price is now dropping below. If this is the case right here, we may have possible entry for a sell if the candle closes green right here. All right, so price is moving. The volatility has picked up quite a bit. So this is a good thing. You just got to be on top of it when you're looking to exit your positions. But okay, price is still dropping right here. So price does retrace up. Entry would happen right here at the 80 mark. I'll just take a couple individual screenshots of my profits real quick while we wait for this retracement. This thing is dropping super heavy, guys. So I think if we do get the retracement, I might skip out on this first opportunity because it's moving a little too quickly right now. Yeah, I think this might be overextended. Almost, not yet, but almost. Entry's now at the 60 mark. So let's see, my first FTM over here. So the entry wouldn't happen right here. I mean, the price would have to close below this black line, which I don't think it's going to with a green candle. It looks like it might be a little too close. So if anything, it might happen right here, but you can see how the volatility here is, it's spiky right now. So I'm probably gonna hold off on this. I'll mark it up for you guys, but I'm probably gonna hold off on this specific entry. Or actually, hold on, let me see if I can maybe get into this. Entry would be at the 70 mark. Not in it yet. I want to see how this candle is here move. I don't even think it'll fill. It'll probably keep dropping. It's a little too far from that level. ATR is currently at 17 right now. Yeah, I don't even think price is going to come back up right now, specifically for this entry. The candle right there is kind of big. All right, so I'm not entering this position right here, guys. I just don't like the I don't like the positioning of like where the entry would have been. And this candle right here is pretty big. So if it does come up, it's either going to reverse or it's going to come up and come right back down. Yeah, this candle here is just it's a little big compared to what I'm like used to. Like if it was a smaller candle like this, I'd have been okay, or a candle like this, even okay. But these big candles right here are risky because this can just be straight reversals. This price will come down and then it'll just reverse from there and go straight up. So I'm not in this position right here. If you guys want to take it, I'm just gonna follow it and we'll see where it goes. But I'm not in this position right here. The candle right here is just a little too big. And I'm glad we didn't take it because now there's a pending buy signal there. If that was the case, we'd have to close out for a small loss. If that might be the case, but I'm not in the position, so not really a big deal. And then on top of that, like what Andrew said, it's right next to open, so it's an area of manipulation right here. So we'll follow it. I'm going to keep taking screenshots of my my individual accounts, and then we'll start looking for the next entry. Hopefully we'll have another entry, but I don't know. This market today is kind of weird how it's been moving, right? It's been a lot like very choppy, very spiky. Like we're kind of better off just being safe than hopping into like these riskier trades. A lot of risky trades right now. I mean, it's probably going to hit, but I'm not going to take that risk. All right, so the trade's still running. Again, I'm not in this position, guys. We're just following it. It's just kind of a messy entry because the actual drop candle is so heavy. Let me go and post my individual profits right now. One, two, three. So, and I got so many profits to send to you guys now. So I'm just going to put a little description here so that you guys know which account's which. It's top step 1, top step 2, FT1 number 1. So that trade's still running. You guys can see if you guys took this trade, you'd be holding on to it for super long. That's the main reason why I didn't want to take it, because the volatility is starting to die down a bit. This trade should have hit within the first couple of minutes. The trade's now running for about like 5 minutes, almost. It's been running for a while now. So yeah, not exactly the type of position that you want to be holding on to for very long, especially for a scalp. I mean, not to say it's not going to hit, because I do think it will hit eventually, but I mean, it's just not a good trade to hold on to. I'd be stressing out if I was in this position. So anyways, here are my profits for the day so far. So here goes my first top step account. I locked in 675, all wins. Here is my MFF number 1 account. You can see my green strip here. This is my main account that I trade on. Total profit of 930 for the day. Here's my FT1 number 2 account. Total profit of 930 as well. My FT1 number 3 account. Total profit of 980. My FT1 number 4 account, total profit of 930. My MFF number 1 account, total profit of 580. My MFF number 2, 580. And my MFF number 3, total profit of 580. And then lastly, my second top step account, total profit of 675. So pretty much solid profits across all my accounts. You know, maybe a great thing that we didn't take this position right here, because you can see how it's like it's a massive drawdown. It just wasn't a good position to trade, because whenever you have a big candle like this, I typically don't like, I feel like I don't need to explain myself, because whenever there's a big candle like that, you typically do get a reversal or you get a continuation. So you kind of have like a 50% chance of it actually playing through. And this right here just wasn't a good opportunity for us to take. If you guys want to go back and look at like those types of candles, just scroll back and look at any big candle. If you look at any oversized candle that's like way bigger than all the previous candles, typically, like for example here, see how this candle is so huge? Candle was big and it came right back down for reversal, and then it corrected back up. So if you guys ever want to look at that, just go back and look at any big candle and then see how the market reacts to it. Because typically it will retrace back or it'll reverse. So, with our knowledge of knowing that, we wouldn't take a trade in that direction. So that's the main reason why we skipped this one right here. I'm glad we skipped it because it could have ended pretty badly if we took it. But yeah, other than that, let me just copy these over to the other channels over here. All right. So, all right, there's no entries for us right now. I mean, if price continues to push up from where it's currently at, we may be able to have an opportunity for entry. So right here, if price pushes up higher and retraces, then we can take a possible buy. Right there, right? We don't have that yet. There's not really much volatility. The volatility is starting to die down. You can see the ATR is currently at 15. Again, guys, this is regular for summer conditions, so it's nothing to worry about. This is just summer. Like summer is going to move like this, and then we might have a correction back to the downside right here. It looks like we might have another sell signal. If we get another sell signal here, we might be able to identify possible entry back to the downside. So price is dumping right back down, which is completely fine. And you can see over here, it's doing exactly what I mentioned, right? Big candle, price reverses, and it comes right back down for correction. So now we're just waiting for some sort of confirmation here. Maria said back, living in a banana republic. It's a mess. I know, I can only imagine your internet connection there is probably really shoddy, Maria. I know you had internet connection before, but yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like a normal occurrence for you. Whenever I go traveling, that's always my main concern. If the internet connection is good enough for me it's probably good enough to trade, but not as great enough to live stream. So on Monday, just another reminder, guys, I'm going on vacation this Friday, so I'll be in Mexico this Friday. So what I'll do is I'll trade with you guys Friday morning. As soon as we get off this live, I'm not going to be able to answer questions. I got to run to the airport. Luckily I live right next to the airport, so I'm pretty close by. But I got to go straight to the airport, and I'll be gone until Monday. So on Monday, no live session and no mentoring session. So I'll be coming back Monday afternoon. Let's see. Other than that, okay, price never came back down further. Price is just going sideways. You can see over here that there's not really much going on. Here's the clean chart. You guys can see the fake out right here. So price pretty much faked out up here, and it faked out down here, and then just went straight back into this range right down the middle. So not really much of a surprise there. It's just same thing. Yeah, CJ said another big candle. Yeah, right there, exactly right. Big green candle. It doesn't look like a big candle here, but when you go on the clean chart, it's pretty clear, right there. Huge green, red candle right there, and then now it's pulling up. The funny thing right here, if you look at it, there was a big. So we had the big red candle, right? Price reversed. We had a big green candle, price reversed. We have a big red candle, price is reversing right back up. So it's just a bunch of reversals in both ways. That's why it's we want to be a little careful when you're looking at these entries here, because there's just fake outs in both directions, right? I think what Sisu calls this is wacky Wednesday, right? That's Sisu's term for when the market's moving kind of unusual on a Wednesday, wacky Wednesday. Everyone has their terms for like specific days. Usually when Tuesday's like the trap Tuesday, but Wednesday sometimes it carries over, especially if there's not any big news events that's causing price to really move around. Right now there's just no direction. Price is going sideways. The ATR is pretty low. It's at 16. It's probably gonna drop to 15 if there's no movement here. If price doesn't push away from where it's currently at, whether it be to the upside or whether it be to the downside, then this ATR is just going to get smaller. It's currently at 16. It might just drop down to 15. Who knows? So we'll see. See what might be the case here. Looking over here at sentiment, it looks like nobody's really entering the market. It's kind of just like the market makers playing with people right now, because there's no actual people in the market that are like entering and exiting. The same people are sitting at 73%. Nothing's really been changing from there. Let's see the fundamentals. Fundamentals are pretty much flat too. They're at eight points. So we don't really have anything here. There's no fundamental bias. Our retail sentiment is 73. So we could expect price to maybe climb up a little later, but it hasn't really changed too much. Looking over here at the technicals, it's pretty much just flat neutral. Higher time frames are straight neutral. Lower time frames are starting to be a little more neutral as well, as price continues to climb sideways. All right, we got some more profits over here from Andreas. Andreas said it closes me early, but I still have the green strip. Yeah, so Andreas over here has a total profit of 1,840 for the day. Nice work, Andreas. So solid profits right there. We have Vincent over here, total profit of 515 for the day. Nice work, Vincent. Full TP with that green strip. Nice work on letting that trade run. We got Kenny over here. Passed his trial account on FTMO. Nice work, Kenny. Awesome. So Kenny said finally passed his trial account here on FTMO. He's now going to start his live account. So nice work right there, Kenny. Look at your consistency. So this is where you guys want to be. You guys want to be in 80% consistency because you want to have like consistent wins and little to no losses. And you actually did really good. So looking over here at Kenny, he had a 6% profit gain, negative, like not even 1% loss. And then his daily max loss was only 3%. So he never really got to that, 5%. He did pretty solid. So my advice moving forward, Kenny, is just stick to your game plan, right? Now that you're going to do the live account or the real challenge, make sure that you just stick to what you were doing when you passed it this time. It kind of drives me crazy how like some people, and I'm probably talking to you directly too, like you might be one of these people. You'll do really good on the trial or on the demo account, just following what I do here. And then when you do the real thing, you start doing your own thing because you start to get too big headed and you think you know everything. And you try to take your own trades and you trade after the live session and you trade Asia and you trade London and et cetera, and you're not ready for it. And then you end up blowing all your accounts, right? So my recommendation is if you guys pass your challenge or whatever, your trial or demo, keep doing what you did when you passed that demo, whether it be following me or whether doing your own thing. Just don't change things up, because like whenever you guys change things up, that's usually where things go horribly wrong. So it just drives me crazy how that happens to so many people. They'll do really good, they'll pass and they'll have like a good consistency, and then as soon as they do the real thing, their trade psychology is everywhere. So just stick to your game plan. Have a trading plan set in place and then just keep doing what you were doing. Because if you guys stick to the consistency and discipline, you'll be able to pass. There should be no problem. And if you just stick to these live sessions, there should definitely be no problem for you doing well, because we don't really lose on the live sessions. I feel like everybody loses outside the live sessions. So just keep that in mind, guys. I can't force you guys to do anything, but the best I can do is give you guys the best direction as possible. Not that anybody follows it though. I know majority of people here don't follow any. Like once we get off this live session, whatever I just told you guys is just going to go out of the window. It's going to go in one ear and out the other. But yeah, if you guys want to do well, just stick on your game, stick to your game plan and stick to your trading plan. Because once you get in your own head, that's really what's going to throw you off. Anyways, there's no entries for us right now. We currently have a sell signal. We have news coming up here in about 2 minutes. When the news happens right here in 2 minutes, then we'll see where price goes. Hopefully this will be the catalyst, because of the ATR is very low right now. It's currently between 14 and 15. It's not good. We need price to actually push out of this range right here. So here's a clean chart. You guys can see that the range is not really going anywhere. It's faking out, but it's not necessarily pushing. So we need price to push into direction. We need it to push up and continue climbing, right? Or it needs to push down and continue dropping. It doesn't matter where it goes. It just needs to go somewhere. But again, this is regular for summer. So don't worry, guys. You know, if this is really frustrating you guys that there's no movement, you're not alone. It's frustrating all of us. But the good thing is that today's August 9th, so we have about a month until September. And then once we get into September, the fall season is going to roll in, and then volatility will be back up, and we'll be able to take some pretty nice entries. So right now, it's just a practice time, right? Right now, you shouldn't be really forcing any trades. You should be just focusing on quality entries. In the fall, you can take a little bit more risk because the market's going to be so volatile. Like as long as you have wide enough stop loss during the fall, you're going to pretty much hit all your TPs. I've seen a lot of people where it's crazy. Some people will join in the summer. They'll just get sick of this market because they think this is how the market is like all the year round. And then as soon as fall rolls around, they stop trading and everybody's killing it. Like everybody's passing challenges every day because it's so easy to take wins and stuff. It's just really sticking it through, guys. So, you know, I've been trading with you guys for over 7 years now, live. And, you know, you guys have been through the seasons. Like you just have to, the market moves in seasons. So if you guys have been trading with me over the years, or even just 1 year, if you guys, so there's a couple of people here who like they've hit their 2-year mark with me just recently and 1 year mark, they start to see a lot of the market movement. They understand that, like, you know, there's times when you take risks, there's times where you want to be careful. Right now is where you want to be careful and conservative because you can't really trade when the market's going sideways like this. I mean, you can get lucky, but you don't really know where price is going to push through. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said, yeah, he hit his 2-year mark with us here in July. I think Cameron too. Cameron hit his 2-year mark with us here this month, actually, I think. So, you know, solid work from all you guys, from Maddie and from everybody else that's here. Yeah, Maddie said he's glad that he's here. Yeah, I agree, man. I'm glad you're here too. Trading is not an easy game, guys. Like I make it look easy because I've been trading for so long, and this is like, it's just second nature to me, but trading is not an easy game. I mean, it's easy if you have some sort of routine down. I have a routine, so it's easy for me, but for a majority of people, it's not that easy. So we got the news candle right here. It didn't really do anything. It was crude oil inventories. I wasn't really expecting much from it, but I'm just gonna mark it up there. There's news, the news candle. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said he's seen a lot of people come and go. Yeah, no, you know, actually, I don't know if Stern's here. Yeah, Stern actually hit me up. He asked me about like two people who were like really big in the group at some point, and they're not here anymore. I don't know what happened to them. I don't want to like assume, but usually when people disappear like that, it's because they blew their account. That's usually what happens. They usually blow their account and they're just too ashamed to like say anything, and they just kind of disappear. So I mean, it happens, right? That's how trading is. Like the things you got to stick through it. If you blow your account, you got to come back stronger. You got to understand like where your mistakes happen, and you guys got to learn from it. But it's not always like that simple. So I mean, we'll see. Yeah, exactly. Marston said hard days are needed to keep you grounded. And the cool thing is that we're here in the live session. So like we're here to have like these side convos. So we're not here forcing any trades, right? So for example, we could have forced a couple trades here. Like for example, there's probably a pivot scalp that happened right here, and you could have forced it if you're trading by yourself. But since we're here on the live session, we're here to be able to talk to each other, and we kind of just pass time rather than forcing some trades. There's a couple old faces who are coming back though. So you'll probably see a couple people. Yeah, like Certain mentioned Jacob. Yeah, I think Jacob is actually coming back. He messaged me a couple of days ago when I posted my profits. I posted my 8 accounts, and then he messaged me and he's like, he wants to come back. So he's gonna come back, I think, soon. So you'll probably see Jacob back here in the chat. I haven't seen or talked to that guy in a long time, but he just responded to one of my stories recently. So we'll see him back here. Other than that, I mean, you see a lot of people come and go, but my advice is to just never give up. Because if you give up, like if you guys have ever stopped trading and you guys came back, it's like starting over again. So even if you guys blow your account, I would recommend switching to a demo and then just keep trading, but on a demo account. Because if you guys ever take a break, like I've seen some people who take like a month break or a 2-month break, they come back and they don't know how to do anything anymore. Their trade psychology all screwed up. They're starting off from scratch. And they kind of just wasted like all that previous time from learning. Yeah, Daniel said, I think trading is honestly just training yourself to be mentally strong. I agree 100%, Daniel. And to be disciplined. All right, so there's nothing else here for us to take right now, but we still have about like 30 minutes left, guys. So we'll continue watching for some possible entries here. There's no entries for us to take right now. We currently have a sell signal at trend meters red. We still have opportunity here to take a sell. We just need price to drop down below a bit further. So I need price to drop down below here, retrace and continue. If we get that right there, then I'll be looking for a sell right over here. So the reason why I'm still looking for a sell is because this sell momentum was never used, right? We had a sell momentum here, price never came down. We have a sell trend. So we still have opportunity here to take entry. It's just we're waiting for this to come down. So I need it to come down to this area down here. I need it to retrace, and then it can't retrace farther than this level right here. If that's the case and it retraces like down the middle right here, I'll put my sell stop right there, and then I'll catch as it comes back down. So if you guys look at this pattern here, this pattern is kind of similar to a liquidity push, right? So say, for example, you got liquidity here, it touched it, but it didn't actually break through, right? Or it came down here and it touched it, didn't actually break through. It faked out, came back up, and now it's retesting. So just think of this as a liquidity push retest. That's exactly what we're looking for here. So right now I need price to come down here. This is going to be the retest of the level. Come back for retracement and then take entry right there. So as you guys can see, like when I trade these strategies, a lot of my strategies are very similar. Like looking at this pattern right here, this is exactly how a liquidity push works out, right? Like, so for example, down here, price came, touched it pre-market. It didn't actually play through. It came back in on the retest right here. It actually played through. That's exactly what we're looking for here. Same thing. Price came down, didn't actually push through. We're looking for the retest. And then once a retest, and if the setup comes up there, we can take the trade. So, it doesn't really matter which strategy you guys apply that I teach. They're all kind of similar. So if you apply a V1 variation, the V1 variation is kind of similar to a pivot scalp. You're just taking a different direction, or it's kind of similar to a high-low scalp. And that's kind of how I develop my system. All my systems are very similar. It's just different entry points. So, that's why I always tell you guys, like, find a strategy that you really like, and I can help you master it, because all my strategies tie in together. And then once you're good with that strategy, you can move on to another one. All right, we got a buy signal right here now. Price is starting to push up. This is completely fine. If this pushes up, we need to have some sort of confirmation of a bullish trend. Right now, the trend's currently neutral. Price is in between the pivots. It's starting to shift right here on the trend meter as well. It's now starting to turn green. The ETR is still at 15, so it's not necessarily great, but it's all right. All right, so what I need here is I need price to push up, retrace, and continue. We get that right there, then possible buy and continuation to the upside. But again, we need to wait for confirmation. Volatility is a little low, but it's all right. Could be worse. We have Rashida over here. So nice work, Rashida. Her first account on Tradeovate, total profit of 506 for the day. So nice work right there, Rashida. And then we have Rashida's second account, total profit of 638 right there. Nice work, Rashida. Yeah, solid profit right there on both of her accounts. Looks like you're doing them separate too. So that's cool. I mean, that's kind of a good thing too. Like, depending on how you trade, you can either use a copier like I'm doing, or you can do it separate like Rashida is doing here. Because if you do that, you kind of you split your risk, right? So if you lose a trade on one, you don't lose a trade on the other. And then you can just keep, you can keep alternating between accounts. So that's a cool thing too. And it's pretty easy. Like if you look at the Tradeovate here, you just go to this account right here and you can switch your account to your other account. So it's not that difficult to switch between different TradeObate accounts. Like you can see over here, I have my profit right here or my account balance is at 150,167. And then you go over to my other account over here, it's currently at 150,606. So pretty solid. Maddie's asking, do you manually pull when entering after using TradeObate copier? Yeah, you have to, because you can't have a pending order on there, Maddie. You can't, I don't think you, well, you can set a TP, but you can't set a stop loss. So it's kind of pointless. You might as well just exit manually. But you could set a TP. I mean, it's easier to just click close because, you know, once you hit your TP on here, you just hit close and it's going to close you out. It's not going to spike out of your TP, right? So it's not like it's not like MC4 where you have like a crazy spread and then you hit close and then you're in the negative, right? It's easier on here because if you're watching it, you just hit close and then you're out like right away. You're not necessarily having the price spike around at all. Yeah, you can try it out, man. I mean, if you want to rewatch the live session from, I'm not sure if you saw how I took the trade, man, but I did it all live here. So if you want to rewatch the live session, you can see how I did it. It was pretty simple. I set the pending order, it filled, and then when I went to TP, I just closed out manually. Let's see, Maria said double body hit TP. Yeah, so there was a V1. Oh, I don't know if it's a V1 variation, but it was a double body. Right here. I don't think it'd be a V1 variation, but Maria is correct. It was a double body. It's a reversal pattern. This will probably come back down and fill this candle right here. This big candle. You know, that's one thing that you guys can look at as well. If you guys ever see a big candle, look for the double body, just like what Maria did. So see how this candle here was a big green candle? If you see a double body right there, it's probably going to come down a little bit at least, like enough to fill a half the candle, right? Or if not full candle. Because that's the same thing that happened like right over here, same thing, right? Double body right there, basically a V1 variation, big green candle, came right back down, filled the candle right back to the downside. So, I mean, if you guys want to take trades like that, I mean, they work. So for example, right here too, this big candle right here, see how price pushed up, double body, and then it came down and pretty much filled the rest of the candle right there. I mean, I know some people who trade like that. It's like they just wait for the big candles and then they catch the retracement back up. I mean, it works a lot of the times too. Trying to see if there's any other examples here. It's got to be a big candle though. Like it's got to be unusually big. It was like Asia session of like Tuesday. Well, I mean, if you guys want to go test it, you guys can. But nice catch right there, Maria. All right, price is finally pushing back up, but the ATR is extremely low right now. It's currently at 14, so I wouldn't be taking any entries here. Yeah, Rashida said this feels like Asia session. It really does, right? The volume is actually slower than Asia session, it feels like. There's just like nothing here. It's just the volume's too low. So like even if you were looking to take a trade, you might be stuck in that position for like a long time. So right now, guys, I'm not really looking to take anything because the ATR is currently at 14. You know, I got to follow my game plan. Like I mentioned before, guys, I follow my game plan, and this is why I'm consistently profitable, and this is why I'm successful at scalping, because I follow all of my trading plans, you know, at all times. So right now, the ATR is currently at 14. This clearly violates my trading plan. I can't trade unless it's 15 or higher. The volatility is just too low. So if I do see an entry here, I'll mark it up for you guys, but I'm not going to take it. So price is pushing up right here. If it pushes up and retraces, there's still going to be a setup for an entry, but the volatility is so low that I don't want to take it because I'll be stuck in that position. I'll be stressing out the whole time. So price might push up, retrace, and continue. If that's the case, I'll mark it up for you guys. But you guys can see over here, the ETR is down at 13. It's getting slower and slower as we progress for the day, which is like it's kind of trash because we're in the middle of New York session, so it shouldn't be this slow. The only problem is that we're in the summer, so this is normal. CJ said, I feel like that's one of the old strategies, like V3 or something. Yeah. V3 basically just off a big candle. You know, now that you mention it, CJ, it's probably a V. It basically is a V3, but you'd have to base it off like that's probably another requirement we have to add to the V3. Make sure that it's an overextended candle or an unusually large candle. Because if that's the case, then yeah, I mean it could be pretty solid. All right, so right here we have possible entry. I'm not going to take the trade because the volatility is too low. You can see the ATR is currently 13. It's way below where I need it to be. I need it to be 15 or above. So I'm going to mark it up here. If it comes down and fills, then great. That's going to be entry, but not exactly looking to take anything here specifically. All right, Andreas. Yeah, Andreas said he's done for the day. So yeah, I'm not really looking for anything here. So guys, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to put them in the chat. It's 7:45 right now, so we have about 15 minutes till 8. I can hang around for as long as you guys need me to. So if there's any questions that you guys have, just pop them in the chat. I'll answer them. Otherwise, I'm not really looking for any more entries for today. For myself personally, because we have 15 minutes and the volatility is just too low right now. Volatility is too low, and I don't expect it to pick up anytime soon. So there's just nothing here for me to take personally. We'll go ahead and analyze everything again. Let's take a look at retail sentiment. Retail sentiment is currently 73. Let's see. 73% short, so it hasn't changed at all. This is why there's no volatility in the market, because nobody's really trading. Everybody who's in a position is already in a position. So they're not really having too much of any movement here. So right now, currently 73% short. This indicates that 73% of retail traders are currently selling right now. So we typically want to do the opposite and buy long term, not necessarily short term, but long term. We do expect price to push to the upside to stop all these people out at some point. Looking over here at the fundamentals, fundamentals are currently plus 13 right now. They're pretty much flat. This is considered neutral because generally, if you need this to be at least 100 points above or 100 points below. Right now, it's not even close to that. It's not going to get anywhere close to that. So we're just stuck at 13 right now. So yeah, with that said, it's pretty much neutral with regard to fundamentals. Now looking over here at the technicals, shorter time frames, 1 minute, 5 minute, and 10 minute are all neutral. You can see prices in between the pivots, not really much movement going on here. And then looking over here on the higher time frames, it's also neutral. It's pretty much right down the middle on the 30-minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour time frames. So with that said, we don't really have much of a bias. There's no technical bias. There's no fundamental bias. Retail sentiment is currently 73% short, but it's not really strong. And you can see over here that price is pretty much just going sideways right now. There's no direction. The volatility is very low. You can see it's currently 13. So I'm glad we did not take this trade, because you can see right here that price is kind of just jerking around a lot, which is not the type of position that we want to be in. I mean, it'll probably hit, but it's not necessarily a type of position I want to be in because the volatility is so slow. So you can see right there, it's pushing right back up. I mean, we'll follow it, but I'm obviously not in this position. Let's see, CJ's asking, do you think the way the market's moving today is a domino effect of the market being down 400 points yesterday afternoon? Sort of yes, and sort of no. So I think, so we had that big move yesterday, right? Typically when you have a big move like that, price is either going to correct or it's going to stay flat, right? So I think for today, price is going to stay flat because the inflation news comes out tomorrow. So we had that big drop yesterday, and then it corrected a little bit, and then now it's flat, so that tomorrow it can shoot straight up, right? Well, I mean, depending on how the inflation news happens, but let me go to the higher time frames real quick. So the trade here is still running, guys. It looks like it's going to hit TP. I'm not in the position, so it doesn't really matter to me, but let's go over here and take a look at YM real quick on the higher time frames. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just take everything off first. All right, let's mark up market from yesterday, right? So let's just, and I'll show you guys, how you guys can analyze it. It's not really difficult how to identify this stuff here. It's just really understanding what to look for. So this is Monday from 6 o'clock up until there, right? This is the movement from Monday. Here is the movement from Tuesday. Or actually, that's not even, Monday's like right here. And I'll go in a lower time frame so you guys can see it a little better. I'm just marking it up. Let's go on a 30-minute actually. 30-minute might be a little better to see how, yeah, it's not that much better. Okay, Tuesday right here. 6:30. You know what? I'm like super far back. Sorry, guys. Monday, which was right there. Tuesday, which was right here. And then here is Wednesday today. Right. So I'll zoom in a little bit. Let me go on maybe the 10-minute would be better. Okay, so you'll see over here, this is Monday's market, right? Price went up on Monday. Great day for us. Made a lot of profit on this day. Day was solid, easy trades. This is how the market typically moves. Usually the market will push up, retrace, push up, retrace, push up, retrace. Easy money, right? That's how like the market typically moves. Again, right here on Tuesday, we had kind of the same thing, except there just wasn't as many entries. There was a fake out to the bottom side, and then price actually corrected back up. So the drop didn't really happen for too long, CJ. It only happened for like the first hour, and then it already corrected back up from there, right? Price swung back up. Same situation, right? Price faked out to the bottom, and then it came all the way back up. So this is Tuesday market. And then looking over here, this is today, right? Today is just flat. So market actually already corrected from yesterday. It's just flat today, right? So yesterday, it seemed like the market dropped a lot because we were trading during this time period right here, but it actually corrected back up right after. So it dropped right here up until 8 o'clock, and then it went all the way back up. So this was yesterday, straight up yesterday, Monday, basically straight up yesterday after our live session, went straight down and went straight back up. So the correction already happened right here. And then today the market's just flat. The reason why it's flat, in my opinion, is because there's a big news event happening tomorrow, which is going to be CPI month over month, CPI year over year, basically straight inflation news, right? Tomorrow morning. So I think the market's going to stay flat for the most part today, and I think it'll pick back up tomorrow. And then on Friday and tomorrow, we're going to have some crazy movements. But yeah, there's not really too much here happening. You can see it's pretty clear, and you guys can see it's not that difficult to really analyze stuff like this. I mean, it might be difficult if you guys don't know what to look for, but I've been trading for like 10 years now, so I know exactly what to look for. If I'm like, okay, I want to see how market was moving yesterday, I just mark up the session from there, and then we see how it moved. And then today you can see there's not really too much going on here. It's just a sideways movement. Let's see, Kenny said, I think slippage, but price keeps moving in that direction smoothly. Sorry, let me reread your question up there. So yeah, CJ, there goes my analysis for the market. I think it's going to go sideways till tomorrow because we have a big news event going on. And I think tomorrow price is either going to climb or it's going to drop. Looking at their expectations over here. So they're expecting it to be, so year over year is supposed to be, it's supposed to be up. So, and you can see over here, this is the only news event that they're expecting it to be up. So with it being up like that, since greater is good for forecast. I mean, we'll see if it's going to be higher than not, but straight inflation news, I think inflation is going to go up. They have to. It's the only way to prevent a recession from happening. So it's probably bad news, but price is still going to go up. I think price is going to do the opposite. It says negative there, but it's going to go higher. All right, question from Kenny. He's asking, any reason why MT4 closes out trades at smaller TP than inputted? It's been acting weird today. Yeah, I think it's because of the slippage, Kenny, because that's what happened to me the other day. Today, I actually hit my TP, but here, let's see, where did I think it was a slippage. So it shows your entry point right here. So I got in at 35,346, and then I exited at 35,355. So I think it was just slippage. What happened was it hit your TP, and then as soon as it closed, it spiked down like in a split second. So it hit your TP, and then it came down like as soon as you hit like your trade closed out, and then at that point you just got out at a lower price, but you did hit your TP, right? So that's the same thing that happened with me right here, Kenny. Hit my TP. You can see the green strip, obviously. Price came up, hit the TP, and then it spiked down like 1 pip. So instead of making 1,000, I made 930. So yeah, exactly what Maria said, slippage and spreads. Because sometimes the spread is like, it's variable. So like sometimes the spread will be at like 170 and then it'll change to like 190. So like, just like what Maria said, it's slippage plus spread. It's kind of annoying, but sometimes it works in your favor. Like I think on Monday, it worked in my favor. Like I hit my TP and then where did I take? Yeah. So I hit my TP, but then it gave me way more, right? So I was only supposed to make 100 pips on this first trade right here. The slippage was so bad that it gave me an extra 10 points, right? Or 10 pips. So it happens, you know, it's something you have no control over. It's just your broker. Sometimes your broker sucks and their execution times are just horrible. Like MFF over here. I was supposed to lock in 1,000. They gave me 580. Like, come on. How bad can your execution and spread be? I locked in 980 over here. Same lot size, same trade, same copier. And they gave me half profit here across all my MFFs. So unless your name is MFF, then you probably be good. But actually, TFF is even worse. So don't even try using TFF for scalping. They're going to give you like negative. Like I'll get 1,000 here. And then they'll give me like a negative. Let me see if I have the... Let me see TFF. Yeah, so check this out. I made like 970, right? Full TP, green strip, everything straight up, full TP. Look at my TFF down here, negative 100. So TFF is the worst. Don't do TFF. I got less on my MFF, so I made it full TP here, 970. My MFF gave me 570 as usual, still have profit. But then TFF over here gave me negative 100. That's crazy to me that it will be that far off to give me negative. So don't ever try using TFF for scalping. You could probably use them for intraday trading, but definitely not for scalping, because they're gonna nickel and dime you until your account gets blown. Yeah, CJ said TFF is acting like a loan shark, but yeah, that's just my 2 cents. Other than that, guys, I don't think there's any other entries here. So good thing we didn't take the entry here. As you can see, volatility is very low. It pretty much goes sideways for a little bit until it decides to reverse. Let's see, we got some more profits over here. So we got Barack, total profit of 1,082 for the day. Nice work, Barack. Solid profits right there. We've got Randy over here, total profit of 490 for the day. Great work right there, Randy. Kenneth over here, total profit of 1,015 on his Top Step account. Nice work, Kenneth. Solid trade there. Looks like he took 2 trades. Great moves. We have Kevin over here. Kevin said tough day, caught the first momentum pullback, set a pending order, thought he'd cancel it, but it still said it was working. Ended up filling 4 minutes later, took an L. Yeah, just do everything through TradeOvate, Kevin. So unfortunately, Kevin over here had an issue with his he traded on TradingView, and then it had some lag. So I would just trade directly on TradeOvate. It'll still show up on your TradingView chart, Kevin. So I think it's fine. I mean, I've been using directly on TradeOvate, and it's been pretty solid. I actually really like it. So yeah, fortunately, it's all good. You know what happens. You live and you learn, right? At least you didn't blow your account. That's the main thing. So just keep that in mind. Other than that, let me see if there's anything else that I'm missing. CJ said, thanks for breaking that down, analyzing myself and lead down the rabbit hole. Yeah, exactly, CJ. Just got to keep it simple. Andrew said a high-low momentum hit. Yeah, I think there was one right here, right? So we had a high right here, sell signal broken close past pivots 1 and 2. And that'd be an entry right there for a high-low momentum scalp. I mean, you could have even taken it for a ATR 1-to-1. I think the ATR is actually better for the high level momentum scalps, because usually you're going for that pretty nice smooth move in that direction. So, all right, other than that, I think that might be it. One last question from Kenny. Kenny said, off topic, but next summer you're throwing a Kodi yacht party. I know, right? We got to take a trip out there to Miami or something, or wherever you're at, Kenny. I'm not sure where you're located right now. But yeah, no, we should definitely get a gathering together. We've been trying to do this for a while now. We just never really got around to it. But yeah, no, definitely. I'm down to have a meetup with you guys at some point. Let's stack up like all these profits by the end of the year. And then by next year, we'll be able to come together and link up. But all right, guys, other than that, I'll see you guys here tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, it's 8 o'clock. I don't recommend you guys continue trading. The volatility is still very low. It's currently at 14 right now, so it's not really worth taking any entries right now. You'll be stuck in that position for 20, 30 minutes, maybe an hour. So it's not really worth the risk. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow.